Are you familiar with David Shaw? If you saw the documentary Dave Not Coming Back, you must have. The disturbing story has deeply affected viewers all across the globe, but if you want a less terrifying story, stop searching right now. This video is the best for you as we will examine the dangers of cave diving today. What better way is there to learn about the risks and accidents that can happen when cave diving? If you go back to David Shaw's terrible tale, you may be wondering how the diving accident occurred. So stay tuned for the resolution as we address this query. Grab some pillows now as we continue to explore the unlucky diver's last moments, because this may become a bit spooky. Let's get started without further ado. Let's begin with a proper introduction to David Shaw before we discuss the circumstances surrounding his passing. David John Shaw was born on July 20, 1954. He wasn't simply a scuba diver by trade, he was also an accomplished pilot and worked as a certified pilot for Cathay Pacific. He handled both of his careers, and in my opinion, diving was more of a pastime than a career. He began his career as a commercial pilot with Cathay Pacific in 1989 and continued from the time of their birth till his passing in 2005. As you can expect, he was highly skilled and had put a lot of effort into getting to where he was in life. You are aware that he was an expert pilot and excellent at what he did presently. Let's talk about his diving experience now. Shaw was a world-class diver who set several records. This included data on things like the depth of a rebreather and the depth of a cave, depth running a line, and depth when using a rebreather at altitude. If you're not sure what a rebreather is, it's a breathing apparatus that draws carbon dioxide from an individual's exhaled breath to enable them to take in again the unused oxygen, and if necessary, any interior gases that may be present. As you can see, Dave was an absolute pro at rebreather diving and had established himself as one of the top divers in the whole world. He was unquestionably a living legend. Let's speak about what you've all been waiting for right now. How exactly did Dave Shaw pass away? This tale begins with a different diver, Dion Dreyer. On December 17, 1994, he was a novice diver who perished on a training dive. Bushman's Hole, a freshwater cave, has been explored down to 282.6 meters. Due to its severe fatalities and challenging circumstances, this cave is renowned for being lethal for divers. And do you recall the records Dave broke that I mentioned at the beginning of the video? Well, they were all carried out in the Bushman's Cave. Dreyer passed away there, and the Bushman's Pit is where his corpse was lost. Shaw, who was renowned for doing deep dives, decided to collect Dreyer's long-lost corpse, which has been floating within the Bushman's Pit for more than 10 years at this point. Now for the meat of the matter, how did he genuinely pass away then? Dave did record his dive with an underwater camera, which enabled scientists to determine that the high pressure made his breathing difficult. As a result, as you could expect, everything was under observation when he arrived at Dreyer's corpse. The body unexpectedly began to float, which caused complications for him. Dreyer's body, however, had changed into adipose air, a soap-like fluid that floats within his wetsuit. David was informed by several specialists. This was relatively self-explanatory, since a body tends to disintegrate after being submerged for a long time. Dave was working with both hands and had his light on the cave floor. Wires linked them to robust battery canisters that cave divers often carry around their waists or sporadically attached to their tanks, to the powerful underwater lights they use. In the end, Dave perished from a simple tiling of wires after all those years of diving and all those records. You must assume that his corpse was lost in the cave as well, but Dreyer and he were entangled in wires roughly 3 days later when the dive team was gathering their equipment, and both the remains and the lines were dragged to the surface. In this sense, Dave was successful in carrying out his task, recovering Dreyer, but in doing so he perished, dying a genuine hero's death. To sum up, I only want to stress that tragedies like these highlight the risks divers incur while going on a dive. While Dave's motives were good, he wanted to find Dreyer's long-lost body. His love of diving certainly played a part in his desire to succeed. This is not all, however. People thus value deep diving as a skill, since it is a fascinating and dangerous sport that is not for records. We should salute the warriors who risked their lives to do these dives because it takes courage. The hazards that these divers are subjecting themselves to should also be brought to light, because few individuals are aware of diving's risks. Well, that brings us to the end of our video. Share your thoughts on this crazy adventure in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. For more amazing videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more cave diving related videos. Also, don't forget to press that bell icon. We'll see you guys at the next one. Until then, peace.